I'd now like to welcome a special guest, one of our teachers, Mr. Menenberg.
Good morning. Is this on? Good morning. I would like to thank the PTSA for inviting me here to speak again at this event. This event has become such a special celebration of our graduates, and I'm honored and grateful to take part in it, so thank you. For those of you who don't know me, for the last 8 years, I have taught humanities here at Eastlake, and in addition to the state-approved courses, I have also been known to teach the language of sarcasm. Keep that in mind and do what I tell my students all the time. Take everything I say very personally. Now, these misguided youths have continued to choose me to speak at these things for some reason. For that, I am honored, humbled, and to be honest, a little confused. For everything I'm about to say, I'm sorry. To my esteemed colleagues and the parents here today, we did it. We are finally getting rid of them. All the hours, days, weeks, and months leading up into this, and it is so close. We can almost smell it. Now, of course, we all know a few of these seniors who, parents, your basements are party ready for them already, who are never leaving. But we take what we can get. Graduates, let me begin by reminding you of something I have told my students more times than they care to remember. Life is about choices, my friends. There are few days that I fail to remind my students of this ominous truth, and so it is fitting that I take time this morning to expand on what it actually means as you young people step out into the world and into this next chapter of your lives. What is implicit in this pithy saying is that all of our decisions, from what we wear each day to who we choose to spend the rest of our lives with, are fraught with consequences. Though we may not always see or acknowledge this truth, every choice we make yields some result. I remember a student years ago asked me, Mr. Menenberg, what about when we don't have a choice? What about when choices are made for us? Now, this question most definitely resonates with all of us, but especially for you graduates who are here in no small part due to decisions made for you or on your behalf. Maybe your family's moved here from somewhere else. Perhaps you lost someone close to you. Or maybe you didn't get into your dream school. You'll find later in life, if you haven't already, that there will, for better or worse, be choices made that profoundly and deeply affect you, that you will have little or no control over. What you do have control over, however, is how you respond to those choices. I think about some of the choices that I was faced with when I was in your age. Believe it or not, I actually grew up in this area too, and in the centuries since then, yeah, I'm old, a lot has changed in the world. This area has grown dramatically. I have a few more gray hairs and an allegedly receding hairline. Can we turn the lights down on my forehead, by the way? But our culture has shifted in a lot of ways since then as well. With the advent of social media, there are now myriad influences vying for your votes, your views, your likes, your choices. And many of these are working to advance the ideas that the choices you make do not have consequences. Someone else will pay for that. AI can do it for me. It's someone else's fault. It's someone else's problem. All the while, we are conditioning ourselves to complain loudly at the slightest offense and take little responsibility for affecting the changes that we would like to see. We're here to raise awareness, whatever that means. But I'm here to tell you that you have a choice, my friends. You can choose to be swept along by the currents of our culture. You can choose to take everything personally. You can choose to believe that the world's out to get you and play the victim. You can choose to become a lifelong dependent and hope that your parents, your spouse, AI, or maybe even the government will take care of your every need. Or you can choose to reclaim your agency. You can stand up and take responsibility, for better or for worse, for where you find yourself in life. All of the choices that have led you here today have put you in a place of privilege. And for that, much is expected of you. Now, how many speeches like this have you heard about all the world-changing differences that this class is going to make? Well, I'm not going to stand here and tell you that you are going to change the world. It's too much pressure. Frankly, it's a little absurd and self-important to think that this person is going to change this in the world. Y'all are a little delicate anyway. But you've been conditioned to believe that the world revolves around you. My friends, it does not. It is not all about you. It's about me. No, I'm not going to tell you that you are going to change the world because in many ways you already have. Did you know that this is the first class of Eastlake seniors to graduate without a single F grade? That's right. It's impressive. Yeah. Not a single one. Now, that would be a lot more impressive if it was because of your academic prowess and not because of the endless retakes, corrections, and do-overs that we gave you. Now, this is also the first class to graduate that thinks yoga pants and Ugg slippers are appropriate for a job interview. This is the first class to graduate having spent more time outside of the classroom than in, whether it was wandering the halls aimlessly, going to Starbucks with friends, or just straight up ditching class. I mean, there was a small pandemic mixed in there, but seriously, graduates, you have left an indelible mark on the Eastlake community. You have taken stances, developed convictions, forged relationships, suffered heartbreak, setbacks, frustrations, and failure. This is life, my friends. Triumph and tragedy. But the fact that you're still here is proof that you are making a difference. And getting here today was easy for some of you. I mean, we made it really easy. But I remember when I was graduating, I didn't think it was a very big deal. My friends, this is a big deal. Many of your classmates seated around you, they did not find it so easy. Waking up and putting on clean clothes each day, that was a challenge. I mean, some of you had to go out and get an outfit for today. After all, your whole wardrobe consists of sweatpants and, pajamas, but I digress. Sitting through 7 classes a day, that's a challenge. Dealing with anxiety and depression, or just fear in general, it's a challenge. Managing schedules, projects, APs, college apps, state testing, all the while trying to stay up on the latest trends, make a social life, and have a foolproof plan for the rest of your life, that's a challenge. But you're here. You made it. And most of you are still awake. Well done. Now, many of you have a plan for what comes next, or at least your parents have a plan for you. Some of you are leaving this place to go to college, some to the military, some to trade schools, some directly into the workforce. A few of you lazier ones have been somehow convinced your parents to let you take a gap year. But whatever your chosen path, know that it will likely change in some way. When life happens to you, you will have a choice to make, my friends. I remember a time when I left my first career and I found myself in need of a job. I ended up taking 2 part-time food service jobs before landing a sales job in the middle of a recession. Nothing to do with my college major, by the way. Amidst this, I suffered a devastating breakup. It was a great time all around. I had to learn a new trade, deal with my heartbreak, and yes, for a month or 2, I even had to live with my mom. My friends, I had a choice to make. Standing still was not an option for me. And I remember amidst the anxious nights and difficult months, 2 things grounded me: my faith and my family. And later, after meeting my wife, who's here, by the way, with my kids, I made the choice to course correct and forge a path that would lead some kind of meaningful legacy. This led me to you. You are our legacy. Please don't screw it up. Now, as I mentioned, I teach humanities, which comes from the Latin humanitas, meaning in addition to humanity: culture, refinement, education. We've learned a thing or two about formatting in the Mongols, and I've even made it a point to teach some of these kids basic fiscal responsibility. But in fairness, all of your teachers, your coaches, your counselors, your families, your community, have been adding to your humanity. Take what you have learned thus far and endeavor to keep learning. Keep an open mind and an open heart, and you will find yourself in your life full and far more satisfying. Not only that, but you will have more to give those around you, and in doing so, your choices will change the world. Life is about choices, my friends. I'm going to close with a poem by William Henley. The author wrote it during a 3-year hospital stay after numerous operations to save his remaining leg. You see, when he was your age, Henley suffered from tuberculosis of the bone, lost a leg, and endured immense physical pain for much of his life. And yet this man chose not to be defined by his circumstance. Listen to what he writes. Out of the night that covers me, black is the pit from pole to pole. I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul. Congratulations, graduates, and may you too become the masters of your fates and the captains of your souls. Thank you. It has been my privilege and my honor.